Hey guys, Leash here. Really excited to be able to share this amazing case study with this awesome therapist we work with. Her name is Belle. Now, she runs a clinic and she's had a lot of experience in the industry. And so when we came on board with her, it was really about getting an outcome where she would have a lot less frustration with the team that she was working with. So basically, what she shares is some of the things that she put in place on how to grow her business and also how to become the leader that she needed in the business that she had, and how she worked through um, a lot of health concerns herself as a leader. Basically, as she shares, she came on board with us and came down with glandular fever. So she just shares about how we journeyed with her through that process and the outcomes that she got, even being able to grow from that space and what that was able to do for her business. And her business is now in an amazing position where she's making money. She's not stressed out. She's changed locations and basically doing everything that she needs to make the business be amazing. So I'm really excited to share this story with you. It's really quick, it's really concise, and you can hear the exact steps that she took that anybody could take in their business to be able to grow it in the way that she did. Good morning, Belle. How are you going?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
It is so exciting to be able to catch up with you, I'm
Yeah,
so excited to be able to share your story with so many people. So before we get into that, do you want to maybe share a little bit about who you help, talk to us a bit about your business, and maybe share about you've had a lot of experience in the industry, so maybe share some of that with us.
yeah, sure. Well, okay, so I am a perinatal wellness expert. I love to work with women in that journey leading up to having a baby, during pregnancy, and then in the postnatal years to around the time the kids are in primary school and about to go into high school. I just love working with those women that just need someone to link arms with, and they can go and say, I feel like crap, I've got aches and pains, and we can just support them. So my clinic is really set up for that. We have belly tables with the holes. We do assessments. We do mental health care assessments. It's a lovely environment. It's a really exciting time to be with someone as they're journeying through that. So prior to the clinic, I've had for 10 years, I was a mobile therapist, a chiropractic therapist, osteopath, and I was also a nanny. So I used to massage all the mums that I used to work for as well. So that was pretty fun. But when I started having children is when I really wanted to just settle down, set up a clinic that was mine. I could run on my own terms. And the rest is history. Here I am 10 years later.
Amazing story. So, I know we first started to speak probably 12, 18 months ago, and you built the business to a certain point, and
Yeah.
basically stuff had come up for you. And do you want to maybe share a little bit about where you actually were at that time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So your whole motto is how to be fully booked without burnt out. I was already burnt out. I was a mess. I was so exhausted. And just listening to you on the phone, I'm going to cry. I still remember where I was. I was sitting on the floor folding laundry, and you were on the other end of the phone, and you just knew what I was going through. And it was so powerful to have someone say to me, I hear you, I've done it, I've experienced it, and I know how to help you. And that was a turning point for me. I eventually did crash, but having you there just going, it's okay, it's gonna get fixed. I didn't believe you at the time, but it was so helpful. Everything that you told me was true, basically. And this is such a lonely business. We spend hours upon hours alone with our own thoughts while we're massaging, and that does your head in. And just knowing that I had you there that had been through it, I just wasn't alone anymore.
Mm. And it's so powerful. I know that we're as therapists, we're often driven by connection because that's what we do with our clients. We connect
Yeah,
them to themselves, we connect with them, and
yeah,
yet then we step out of the treatment room and it's just us. And I think you're right.
yeah,
Like, we spend hours and hours in our own thoughts, and it's like we're such connected beings and we're such connected people. To not have somebody that you can connect with, or a group that you can actually connect in with, is so
Yes.
to have that. Sorry, is so important as a therapist to grow yourself, especially in business as well. So we had a conversation, and I remember your email came through, and it was like, I've got this going on and that going on and that going on. Oh my goodness, are you actually the person that can help me? And I thought, let's have a conversation. And obviously that conversation went really well. And we did connect, which was fantastic. Talk us through, I'm going to do this business coaching. It's all going to be amazing. I'm going to create this incredible business. And then what happened after you took those steps? Because things didn't go to plan. Let's just say that. It did not go to plan at all.
So in our first Zoom meeting where you asked me to look at my numbers, I was a mess. I had I love that I just said had, because I don't have it really anymore. I had such a block over money. I didn't want to face it because I was terrified that I was going to fail. And I've never failed in my entire life. I view failure as just, not succeeding, so I just keep going. But I was a mess. I ended up with glandular fever. So I didn't know how sick I was when you and I first talked. And then I had this total breakdown, whereas Brene Brown calls it a breakthrough. So I'm going to hold that. But yeah, my whole body wouldn't work and my mind could not switch off. So I spent a couple months in bed, but all of January in bed, propped up with pillows under my arms so I could use my mouse, but I didn't have to move anything. And I just went through your programs and I was just like, oh my gosh, the stuff that I don't have in order, the systems, procedures, just, it was so much. And it was so overwhelming. But then at the end of that month, my ducks started to line up. I got better. I went back to work. I did it on my terms. I was very firm with my staff. I realized I was letting everyone do what they wanted because I was so afraid that they would leave. And I just thought, no, I'm not having this. I kept the business open for everyone else. Fed for 2 months. We're not having it. So I turned it around, and yes, there was some friction, but they all re-signed contracts with me and they realized that I was stepping into my power, and that feels amazing.
Yeah, wow. That is such a huge journey, and well done to you for having the courage to actually face those fears with bravery and actually walk through them, because so many people put blind, even if they become aware that this is not their strength, just go, that's it. Tap out, I'm done. And you never did that, as challenging as it was and as frustrated as you were and as often as we spoke in tears, you never gave up. And that is what I love about watching your journey. I never want to see people in pain. However, you're right. It wasn't a breakdown. It was a breakthrough. And for you to be in the position you are now, full of life, full of beans, and smashing it in your business. You've just moved to a fantastic location, doing really well with awesome staff who are actually doing what you want them to do now, as opposed to trying to herd cats like it was in the past, just wanting to be liked and wanting everyone to stay and all that sort of stuff. And kind of, it was almost like you were living in fear. And by actually facing those fears head on, like you did through January, you're actually been able to move through them now. And now it's like that fear doesn't operate, and you're actually helping more people.
Yeah, that's right. And, most of all, I'm helping myself to be the woman that I was created to be, because she left. And there's something in that, so many people, just by hearing my story, and I'm not afraid to tell people I had a breakdown, at first I didn't tell anyone for a month. I was so ashamed. The wellness practitioner gets so sick she can't get out of bed, And now I'm proud of what I've done, because I didn't give up. I didn't go on the dole. I didn't retrain. I didn't know. I stood by it, and I faced what came up for me, which is what I ask my clients to do. So, of course I have to do it.
Yeah. And that's so powerful. When you speak from that experience, people can't help but not listen, because you can't deny someone's testimony. When people are, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the conversation we had, you could speak to me because you knew I'd walk through it. You know, I'd
Yeah.
walk through tears, I'd walk through the challenges that we face in business, and I had come out the other side and was successful and everything was going well. And knowing that there was someone there, and it's like, that's what you do for the women that you help, because although you love to work hands-on with women who are journeying into pregnancy and out of pregnancy, I know that you also have a lot of other stuff that you do for women as well. Do you want to maybe talk to us through some of the emotional work that you do?
Yeah, sure. So I call myself a mind body wellness specialist. So that means that I look at every physical condition that comes up, and I intuitively, and also, you know, refer to a few different guides and mentors. And I put together a bit of a plan as to, okay, well, this is going on in your body, and this is what you're saying to me, and this is what you look like to me. So therefore, could it be true that this is the emotional cause of it? And so I use muscle testing to kind of test my theories and my intuitive guidance, and then I release those underlying emotional layers of baggage that are holding people back. And so sometimes people come in for a massage, and I just say, you don't need a massage. You need me to get rid of all the layers of gunk that is sitting there underneath. So that's really where my personal business practice has morphed into, because I realized a long time ago that I had all these theories in my head, and then I started reading Caroline Myss and Ina Segal and Louise Hay, and I realized, hang on, all these three women have the same idea as me. There must be something in it. So I figured out how to tap into that through muscle testing, and then I release it as well. So I use emotional aromatherapy as well, and then I get the client to take that home to anchor it to be able to fully release what's going on in their life. So yeah, it's really fun.
Amazing. And I love even the energy that comes out when you're sharing about that, the joy that you have by sharing what's going on. So talk us through, I guess, because the way that you went through the program with us was different to how others do it, which is great. And that's okay. To make it, tailor it to whatever people need. Talk us through your experience with the modules and the environment and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I kind of chopped and changed a lot. I didn't do this coherent kind of step-by-step that does my head in. I wanted answers really quickly and fast, and I wanted to get things moving. So I guess that's where the flexibility of the program was really helpful for me. I couldn't seem to get my head around some of the terms and whatever, and that's just my own blocks. I realized that whoa, every time I don't understand, that should be your cue. Alicia, to go, hang on, wait, what are you afraid of? Because there was some serious so there's some serious blocks there that I had no idea, and I'm like, oh, I release blocks on other people, but I can't see my own, you know. So it was nice to be able to see that and to grow from that and not be afraid that, yes, there is a system to everything. Sorry, my puppy is trying to destroy all my papers. So I found the videos really good, the worksheets really good. I liked it that I could listen in to the videos and be washing up, making lunches, whatever it was. I could be doing something else at the same time. And I loved the weekly, the videos on Tuesdays when I could make it. I'm not sure when you do them now, but I really loved, being able to be involved in that. Yeah. And what I did really enjoy was, being able to talk about my successes, because it's not often we're encouraged to blow our own trumpet. And I really enjoyed that, because that's helped me be able to say, just in daily life, I'm really proud of myself,
Yeah.
That's not something you would do.
And that's this then it actually allows others to succeed. Like when we succeed, we actually give other people permission to succeed. And it's so important because when we give ourselves that significance, when we get that significance to go, I do rock at that, it actually looking for it in unresourceful places, and we can give it to ourselves, which is phenomenal. And I love that. And it's true, like you can not only tailor the training to where you're at, but you can do stuff so that you can get the learning that's actually needed for you at the time. And I think that's such a great point that you could actually tailor that, and that we were knowing what was going on when you reached out and be like, Leish, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. And I always reckon that you've got to walk into the path of most resistance, because you can't outrun your resistance. If there's something you're going to face, whether it's numbers, whether it's fear of putting yourself out there, whether whatever it is, and you have to actually face it head on. And once you move through it, then you don't have to push anymore, because you're done. And I love that you are owning yourself as a health leader and still being willing to admit that things don't always go to plan, and that it's okay. You know, like even as a health leader who helps people with this stuff, it's so much harder to see it for ourselves. And it is. It's like, and I have coaches that help me, because sometimes, you know, like it's just because we are at a certain level doesn't mean we're perfect. It doesn't mean.
No, that's right.
All it means is that our lessons are bigger. Like, honestly, the lessons that we face now are so much bigger than the lessons we faced earlier. And that growth is actually really important, because we don't stop growing just because we get to a certain level or a certain age. So
that's exactly right. Yeah. And don't you think it's true that if I want to continue to help women and I don't want them stuck in the same place, I have to up level as well? And so I think that's something for whoever's listening to this to remember, that there has to be some kind of suffering in your passion, because the Latin word for passion is suffering. And so, or passio, meaning suffering. And so I realized that this is my passion business. This is what I do. This is my heart on a massage table. I have to go through it. I cannot just cruise along and be okay. And so, you know, my passion and my suffering is what I've gone through. And I'm sure in another few years, I'll go through another layer as well, because I need to keep up leveling for my own sake and for my clients. Otherwise, I'm dead.
Yeah. If we're not green and growing, we're ripe and rotting. So maybe I love your passion that's coming through. And I think maybe talk us through some of the challenges and how you overcame some of the staff issues, because it can almost be easy to kind of work with ourselves, because we're in control of it. So it's like, right, you know, I've got to work through some stuff. Talk us through your journey with staff, because I know that there was truckloads of frustration, even though you were working with really good people who are beautiful
amazing
people.
Yeah.
Walk us through some of the frustrations and what you did in yourself to overcome them.
Yeah. The problem was they weren't doing what I wanted them to do. They were acting like subcontractors, which they are. And they weren't acting like team players. And, you know, massage therapists tend to be soul traders. They tend to want to work on their own. They tend to want to be, and I'm going to say pseudo entrepreneurial, because they haven't quite made the leap into entrepreneurial status. They want to run their own race, but they want me to bring all the bookings and they want me to handle all the admin and all of the marketing. But they want to be paid in a certain way that makes me go, well, hang on, you should be doing this. This is your business. So the issue was I was expecting too much, and I wasn't setting boundaries. And then it's like I was letting the 3-year-olds run the household, and that's not fair to anyone. And so what I had to do was get very clear on what I wanted. And I had to, instead of go, I don't like this, I don't like that, I had to focus on what I did want. And I wrote a massive list and I stuck it up on the wall and I focused on that. And so then when I ran into obstacles after crying to you, Leish, I had to just put my big girl panties on and just go, this is what I want. If they don't want to do what I want, then they can leave, and they can leave lovingly. So there was some interviews and there was someone I said, well, you're going to have to leave because you're not in alignment. And then I could see the change in her because I was the adult, if you like. I'm going back to that analogy. She was a 3-year-old, I was the adult, and I stepped into and owned this was my business. And this is what I want, and I'm paying the bills, and this is my vision. I want you on board with me, but if this is not for you, then you need to find somewhere else, and I'll glowingly give you a reference. And so I said, give it a few days. I want you to sit on it and then come back to me. And then she said, no, this is actually what I want. And it's been fine ever since. So not until I could change could my staff change. And I realized that there's no point searching for external. it's always internal. It's always my fault. I'm 100% responsible for everything that happens in my business. Things can go wrong that I don't like, but I get to choose how I deal with it, when I deal with it, and in what manner. So
that's amazing. Belle, I'm almost in tears hearing you say that. That is what we coached you on for 12 months. But
yes,
the fact that you speak that with such authenticity and passion, and I know that is why your business is in a place where your staff are now thriving, because you have made those changes massively deep inside. And you're right, it's the internal work. I mean, I love the results. Yes, bookings are up. Yes, we've got more clients. Yes, our marketing's on point. Rock on. Those things are super important. But the person you get to become is actually really, really exciting. It's kind of like that spaghetti analogy where it's like, this is where we are, this is where we think we're going to go, but ultimately it's actually in the end like this, and that's okay, because this is where the growth happens. The spaghetti is actually where the growth happens. And I love that you have taken the bull by the horns and literally run with it so beautifully, and that you are thriving on all levels because of that. So massive well done to you. It's so
thank you. Well, thank you. I could not have done it without you.
And it has been great to work with you. It's been really, really cool. Belle, is there anything else that you wanted to share as we kind of wrap up about your experience in business, or anything for anybody listening, your experience with us, anything that you wanted to share and kind of pack in there?
Yeah, well, look, I just wanted to really just say thank you. I'm gonna cry. You're doing such a great job. Your back office is seamless. Your passion is so contagious, and you are just doing a great job. If for you to help me turn around, and I'm hard work, and I know it. I'm bullheaded, and I'm extremely entrepreneurial. I know everything, right? And for you to be able to work with me and help me and guide me, and you're just bang on. And I just think any massage therapist who has any kind of entrepreneurial bone in their body should work with you when they come out of their college or TAFE, because you know exactly how to coach someone. And I just really thank you for what you've done.
Thank you so much for that, Belle. It's really, really beautiful. And any minute, I'm going to start crying. But I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today and for your willingness to work with yourself. And I trust that this will be really, really inspiring for many therapists listening. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Guys, that's Belle's story. Now, what I love about Belle is that she never gave up. She was willing to have accountability in her life. Once she got the right accountability, she got the right structure, it enabled her to be able to create the business that she knew she'd always wanted, and she knew that she could create. So if this is you, if you're in a place right now where you're like, I know that I need some help getting this together, I'm not even sure about my energy levels at times, but I know it's possible, then we would love to be able to get in touch with you. We'd love to be able to chat with you to see if or how we can help. Because basically, when you look at what it is that you need, often it's about the accountability, and it's about having someone to go, is this the right action? If I do this, is that going to actually help? If I do this, will it help? What's my compass point and where am I actually going? And these are the sort of questions that Belle was able to ask us and be able to get the clarity on as she was moving forward. So awesome stuff. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.